Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't have a lot of updates for you. And in fact, related to that, before we get started, I kind of wanted to see if we're having overkill with three sessions a week. So we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday right now. And from Friday to Monday, we're finding that we're not really having any more updates than what we have set on Friday. And so if you could use your Zoom hand and say, yes, if you are okay with us retiring the Monday call and just sticking to Wednesday, Friday for now. Okay. And
a lot of thumbs up and a lot of hand raising.
Okay, thumbs up and hand raising both work. That's fine with me. Okay, well, thank you. We will consider that. And I haven't heard anything on TOMS since last Friday either. Brandy, do you have any updates for us on MIDS and messaging to the field?
Yeah, so I do have an update, and I believe it, well, they're getting ready to send out a message, or it went out earlier today, so that we were able to export an additional file to TOMS on Friday evening, and they worked on that over the weekend. So they were able to get the most recent test registration record. So if you had made updates, it took everything as of close of business on Friday. So as of 5 p.m., we shipped the file over to ETS at 11 p.m. that evening, Friday evening. So anything that was in the system at that time was sent over, and those test registrations should be loaded into TOMS this morning.
Okay, there's also expected communication about what to do with MIDS in the interim.
Right. So at the town hall last week on Friday, we worked with ETS, and based on their recommendations, we are recommending to all of you that you do not resolve MIDS during your testing window. So for students who are going through LPAC initial or summative LPAC testing, smarter balance testing, what we're recommending is you just avoid merging any MIDS until your testing windows are over. And then if there are existing MIDS after that, you can go ahead and do it then.
And that's even if you have the wrong SSID for the kid, they still want you to wait.
Yeah, just wait.
And a listserv message will come out on that guidance, right? No MIDS or no resolving MIDS.
Yes, I was working on one.
Yep. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, so question 1 from Eric. We have a student that enrolled 4/22/2022 and is affected by problem 6010, needs initial LPAC and is not visible in TOMS. Do we get another SSID and combine them when 6010 is fixed? Let's see what 6010 is. I don't have that on my radar off the top of my head. 6010 is the SSID generated by CALPADS, cannot be found in the system. I think I found a little bit of a workaround for that, Eric. I'll test it out on you if you don't mind. If you could give me in a ticket the job ID for that one, and I can see if I can help you get that student in there properly. And if that works, maybe I can add something to the known issues that says what the workaround is. Barbara, question 1. Since we are still loading only the highest ed level for parents, how will both load and populate? I'm not sure I understand what that question means, Barbara. Randy or Martha, does that resonate with you?
I mean, right now, Barbara, we're operating on the current academic year file specification, which means that there's only one field to capture the highest educational level for both parents. And so right now, we're only capturing one. The switch where we're actually capturing parent ed level distinctly for each parent or guardian that's being submitted in the SINF, that actually doesn't happen until September when we do the rollover.
But just keep in mind though too, Barbara, if you're only reporting one parent, we only expect the parent ed level for just that one parent. It's when you give us two, then the expectation is we have to have parent ed level for both parents.
Okay, question 1 from Sharon. SACE appears to be back. Are we good to send up our SACE files again? Our SENR is stuck. Should we wait for that to resolve before sending up the SACE records? I'll start with the second half of your question, Sharon. If you have a job that's stuck in processing from like April or maybe even early May, go ahead and abandon that job and send up a new SENR file with whatever was in that existing file. They're going to purge those. We're waiting for that to happen before we communicate with everybody. And once that those SENR records are posted, then go ahead and do your SACE files. Just know that there are a few known issues out there that impact some SPED records, and you'll find those on the known issues at in the footer of CALPADS.
So it could reject your file and you got to clean things up, or you can't. You got to.
You can mark them as, you can mark them as do not report for now, and just make a note that you need to come back and resend those students when it is fixed.
And if you find that too daunting, then you may want to wait for us to fix the SACE errors or the SPED errors.
Okay, Kenneth, question 1. We know we are not supposed to import SELA ODS extracts to our SIS right now, but is it safe for us to import all other ODS extracts, including SPED? There's an issue with all ODS extracts, and Richard, I see your question down there. It's from you that I haven't escalated yet. I was waiting to hear back from the developer, where in legacy, there were 2 date fields at the end of the ODS extracts, the upload date and the edited date, I think, and they're missing in the ODS extracts. And so I don't know if that's a fallout from the total redesign of the backend database and that can't be fixed. That's just the new way of life, or if it's something that could be fixed and we just haven't implemented it yet. So what Richard told us was that he wasn't able to put the ODS extracts in his SAS because they're the wrong file format. So stay tuned on that one. Okay, so some comments about the switching. So it sounds like in general, 2 days a week is fine for you guys. Just a matter of whether it's Mondays and Wednesdays or Fridays and Wednesdays. Sounds like probably a lot of people are off or busy on Fridays anyway. Okay, Angela Perkins says it's overkill if there isn't any new info to share. That's kind of what we were thinking too, Angela. And the service test tickets are getting answered in a very timely manner for anything urgent. That's good to hear. It feels like we're behind still. So a couple more votes for dropping Friday. Hey, Rebecca, Q1, the SENR extract now downloads with an N in the merit diploma, sealed by letter C, and met all UCCSU requirements fields for all students, when prior to the redesign, it was downloading blank. Is this change permanent so I can notify our vendor? And Gary, didn't
There's a bug on this.
Yeah,
there's a bug on it.
It had a different title though. I was expecting to see ODS
NA.
extracts in it.
Look for NA, N/A. Yep, right there, 6015.
Should say something about in the ODS extracts. So no, we have a bug for that, Rebecca, so that should be fixed.
I thought it was happening also in,
It's in other places too. It's not just ODS
in
extracts.
online maintenance, Angela, in the containers. So it's like we put it into the database that way.
Oh, I shouldn't have logged that extra bug this weekend then. This one. So this is the same thing? Adult age students with disabilities. Okay, so I can close that one.
Well, that's slightly different because the other one is when it was blank or, N, then it would change it to N. This one says it's got a Y, so that's kind of different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Okay, I'll leave it there then. Brenna, when will the SPED errors be fixed? I wish I knew, Brenna. I know everybody's really anxious for those. We're hoping soon. We do have a deployment going in this week, but I'm not sure how many SPED errors are going to get fixed.
And we know they're important because you got to be able to identify students that are with disability for testing. So it's the top of the list. That top of the list is getting long.
Cedric, has there been any indications that the DC file was negatively impacted by the redesign? I have one outstanding ticket I'm waiting to hear back from our requirements folks on that. I have a student who's showing up in that file twice, and they were originally identified as reduced, and then they were identified as free. And so both indicators are showing up, but I can't remember.
That's as designed.
It is as designed. Okay.
Yeah.
They
responded, Angela. You just probably.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. Check my 8,000 emails. Brandy and I have a competition to see who gets the most. I'm checking here, Cedric, on the known issues to see if there's anything else. Some old ones that are probably, so we had this originally where you couldn't request it. Yeah, these are old. So I don't think we've seen anything else. If you have something you want us to review, let us know. And Q1, the SPED files are not being uploaded because according to what I hear from the SACE coordinators, there are too many errors being generated due to the CALPADS bugs. It might help to have the Q&As for the SELPAs or SACE coordinators to resolve the SPED file issues. Otherwise, we are going to have some major issues with testing and EOI. Irene, originally, or ideally, the SPED errors are going to get resolved quickly. We're kind of in a tough spot right now because there is a variety of SPED IVRs that's preventing, and there is a workaround is for the user, the SPED user, to flag those that are triggering incorrectly as do not report, and then do another extract so that the records that aren't triggering the error can post.
But that is a lot of keeping track of what you do in DNC, and is it called DNC or do not? Oh, DNR.
DNR, yeah.
DNR.
Asia Q1, do we have an ETA on resolving high priority items on the known issues list? Like I said, it's still TBD, but we have a release going in this week, so there should be at least some validations that are going to be cleared. Okay, Diana, question 1. I can't update my SELA record from EL to EO. All the choices get rejected and say SELA0255. How can I correct this one? So we have a related bug out there. Diana, it's 281. This one, 69. Yeah, 6019. Oh, well, it's fix implemented.
But it came back.
It came back. Okay. I was looking for it today, and Alex, that's why I said I'd grab that ticket from you because I was already working on something for that. The developer just checked in some code, and she has both error codes 281 and 255 in her fix. So I'm double checking that it got deployed correctly. So that should be hopefully in this week's release, Diana. Okay, question 1. At the ETS meeting on Friday, Brandy said to stop resolving NIDs and that a notice would be sent out to the CALPADS LEA coordinators. Is that true that we should wait until testing at our district is finished? Yes, but we still have not seen that communication from CBE, but they would like you to pause combining NIDs at least. You can mark them as none or different, but if you combine, they want you to hold off because it's causing chaos on the ETS side in TOMS. Okay, Richard's got some follow-up information on the missing dates in the SPRG file. And his SAS vendor thought the issue was the missing academic year that has not populated for some time and has not been an issue. Okay. Like I said, I'm still chasing that one down, Richard, and I apologize I haven't gotten back to you. I do have your ticket in my queue. I just needed a little bit more information before I could respond. Okay, another vote for Monday, Wednesday. Aaron, Q1, I have a student who got an SSID that was already in use. I can't seem to remove all the students' records, so I can't remove the enrollment and create a new SSID for the student. This is causing issues for my district to test as well as another district. Can someone direct me on how to resolve this? I know we're not supposed to do MIDs, so I'm not sure how to move forward if I were to create a new SSID.
So they grabbed another kid's SSID by accident.
Yeah, so the kid's only going to be able to test in one place anyway, right?
Yeah, they need to create a new SSID. It's not a MID. It's not a MID. They're testing them under a different student's SSID. They're two different students, is what I'm reading this as.
Yeah, it's like a reverse MID.
They grabbed the wrong SSID. So they're testing Johnny under Emily's SSID.
So if Erin creates a new SSID with the correct enrollment and deletes her enrollment, her San Rafael enrollment on the other SSID, will there be any issues in TOMS?
If the student's already testing, I mean, the bottom line is you can't submit a SARS incident unless you own the enrollment. So there's always issues when that happens, right? So the best thing to do would be to reset the test while they still own the enrollment, then delete the enrollment, then create the new SSID. If the student's already started testing.
We can't delete records, right? We got a bug on that?
Sometimes you can. I think it's a specific scenario. I think when you N470 them, you can't, and it's the only enrollment, or even when it's not the only enrollment,
right.
We're getting the IVR 180.
So go ahead and get a new ID first.
And I would try to delete it. I don't know that it's universal that you can't delete, because Erin's got two things problematic, right? She's probably got this other LEA asking her to, can you fix this for us so our student can test? So she's got to get that other record out of there.
So step one, what would you say is her first step? To delete her enrollment, or what did you call it, Brandy and Tom's? To reset the test?
Well, they have to submit a STARS incident to reset the test, meaning they basically are saying, oh, you got to start over.
Aha. Okay.
And then once that STARS incident is submitted, then she can go ahead and create the new SSID. And if they're able to, they can take whatever, but something tells me, like, if then they're in the middle of testing, the students might actually have to start over. So she definitely wants to talk to Tom's about that piece, but she needs to submit a STARS incident to reset the test, because the test is not associated with the right student. It's associated with a totally different student. So they create a new SSID, and if they're able to, they can move those test results to the new SSID. But that's something she needs to confirm with Tom.
Okay, so Corey at Riverside SELPA says, with the SPED submissions I have been sending up, the success rate is 75 to 80% of attempted transactions. To me, that rate is high enough to warrant uploading from SACE to CALPADS now. So thank you, that's good feedback, Corey. Ricky Lynn, question 1. Our CAASSP testing window closes on Friday. Have we received confirmation on which days data is flowing into Tom's? And related note,
yeah.
she's accepting donations of caffeine and chocolate this week. Wish I could send that a little gift basket to all of you.
We're trying to get that worked out. Just know that we did send out an initial listserv message, and when the town hall meeting came up, they had an entirely different schedule. And so we were trying to get that worked out this morning. As of right now, we still don't have a common understanding. So we're trying to get that figured out. Hopefully tomorrow they'll send something out with an update. The bottom line is, initially we said Tuesdays and Fridays, but ETS needs a little more time to clean up the file that CALPADS is sending them. And so rather than, if they're getting a file on Tuesday, then those test registration records very likely wouldn't show up into Tom's, into TDS until Friday. They need a couple of extra days in between. So anyway, we're still trying to work it out. Just keep an eye out on the listserv.
And so bottom line, it's not automated yet.
No, I mean, just so you know, I did find out this morning that we are sending the file every single night. However, ETS, based on the amount of cleanup that they have to do, they're only processing that file twice a week. So we're sending it, but they're only processing it twice a week because of the amount of cleanup that they have to do.
Got it, thanks. Okay, Brittany says, similar to Corey, I've been seeing about 30% rejected rate of SPED transactions. I add a comment when I DNR with the error and the known issue number, so I can easily see what to try and submit again as things are fixed. That's great, Brittany, thank you. Okay, Suzanne, question 1, I apologize if this was already addressed. We created a brand new SSID because none of the potential SSID matches matched at all. Now we just received the original SSID from the former school. This school hasn't exited their student with us. The student tested in CAASSP this morning with the brand new SSID. These two SSIDs are not showing as a mid. Should our CAASSP coordinator ask ETS for an SSID swap? And should the student continue to finish the CAASSP with the brand new SSID or the original one, which is the correct SSID?
Just let them finish testing under the SSID that they're testing under, and then fix it afterwards.
And if they're not showing up as a mid, verify the first and last name of both of the students and make sure they match identically, as well as the date of birth. That helps getting detected as a mid.
Okay, Larnie, question 1. Can we enroll a student with disabilities in our comprehensive school while attending a private school outside of California as part of an IEP? Do we enroll as enrollment code 50? Are we required to submit course completion for the student at the end of the year?
Okay. Can you enroll them while attending a private school as part of an IEP? Are you saying you're evaluating the student for services? If the answer is they're attending a private school right now and they're being evaluated for special education services, can you enroll them? The answer is yes. You would enroll them at the district level with enrollment code 50. You would not be required to submit course completion as long as the exit code for that enrollment is N470. All right, so she's already eligible for services, but is the district serving her, Marnie? Or are you saying that the district's serving her with services, but she's in a private school out of state? Is it an NPS school?
Not an NPS, but it is out of state.
You know what, Larnie? I would send me a ticket, please, because this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if it's because the student's on a settlement agreement. That's what it's kind of sounding like. So send me a ticket, please, because this is more intricate than it seems.
Okay, Nima, I'm aware of the SPED 546 as a known issue. I generated a SPED 05046 report from SACE to CALPADS, 215 records rejected with that error. Is there an easier way to DNR 215 transactions so I can attempt to submit the remaining SPED transactions? And I don't know if I can answer that, but maybe Corey or Brittany, if you have any suggestions. We'll come back to you, Nima, if we hear anything. Yadira, question 1 for CRSC 0463. If the following state course code 9222 or 9223 has something in the course content area for that area, must be blank. 9223 humanities, and my SIS for one of my seeds has humanities, history, social science, emphasis. Does this error indicate that the subcategory should be blank in my SIS? I apologize in advance. First time doing EOI.
I think that's a bug.
There's an error of 5971.
Okay. I think this is what you're asking about, Yadira. And since you're new, just a reminder, when you're in CALPADS, scroll down to the bottom and click on the current known issues a few times a day to get the latest and greatest. This one's been out there for a couple weeks now. And lower priority for us because, as you heard earlier in the call, we're trying to get people focused on student profile and any data migration issues that are left over that prevent students from being tested. Jana, Q1, the SPED extract looks like it's missing the student birth date. I do not see this on the known issues. So Gary, Paul, Alex, have you seen any tickets like that?
We had something with birthday, but I don't know about the SPED extract.
Yeah, the demographics was missing from some of the ODS extracts.
Might need a ticket for that. We'll get it logged.
This one's on the SSID extract. Okay, so in response to Nima, Brittany says, if you know which transactions in SACE, you can select the checkbox for the transaction, and then there is a bulk DNR button. Nice, excellent, thank you, Brittany. You can also bulk update the comment so you know why you marked it DNR. And then Corey's got some feedback for Nima as well. Not so much, Corey says. What I do is write out my DNR message in advance and copy and paste them in. I put my error list on one screen and the SACE transactions on the other and take them in bunches. It doesn't take as long as it feels like it should. Jeanette, Q1, I haven't been able to post an SPRG file as every time I upload, I have rejected errors that are all known issues. Am I currently only currently extracting data changes? What do I do? Wait until the known issues are resolved? Yes, correct. I don't think we have any workarounds for the SPRG defects that are out there. I'm going to jump back up to some Q2s now. Around 316, I saw the first one. Richard, why are we seeing old records on the current known issues? It's a whole new ballgame. Shouldn't those be trimmed off at the end? Yes, it's a task that needs to be done, Richard. It's a blend of things because we didn't touch every area of the system. Some of those known issues are still valid. They didn't, it's a report problem or other areas that are still untouched. So as you can imagine, things have been pretty intense up here. So we're focusing on getting production stabilized, and then we'll take a stab at going back through that old stuff and cleaning it up for you.
You could use I think it was 418 when we started logging defects in the new system. April 18th when the system came back up.
Yeah, Gary and I started a little bit early because we were trying to get a head start on the known issues. Right. So 411, Richard, is the cutoff, 411-2022. Aaron, Q2, is it recommended to wait to upload SELA files to CALPADS, or should I wait until some of the known issues have been resolved and testing is complete? I'm just concerned that many TBDs aren't in CALPADS for testing. TBDs should be fine to upload and post. I don't think you're getting any errors on those that I'm aware of.
But we are fixing the data migration on Wednesday. If you type in migration.
I was just seeing what other IVRs were out there. And this is deleting historical data. IVR1. Oh, GRR005. Yuck. Gary or Alex, are you familiar with that? It's not global, is it? SELA GRR005? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if global.
You should be able to enter TBDs, right?
You should.
What's the ownership error for this SELA?
Well, I mean, I know that I've seen it with deletions where people aren't able to remove records that where they have ownership of both SENR and SELA records.
That's what this error is. I'm looking at VSO for 6008, and that's what it is. Unable to delete the EL record since it's before Tom's integration and LEA has ownership. Occurs in OM and batch.
So you should be able to add.
And Q2, does the issue of first round of errors and the second round of errors also apply to the SPED files? Will that be fixed in the short term, mid-term, long term? Meaning, will we eventually get all the errors the first time we post files?
Right now, there's no plan on changing that. It's for all the files.
Can you get all of the errors the first time? I don't think so.
No. I mean, the only way that actually happens is if you don't have one type or the other of the error.
Right.
I mean, like I said, we've talked to, we're going to be talking to our lead developer about, ways that error list can be more comprehensive because we understand that it's confusing for you guys.
I happen to have that up if somebody didn't make the quarterly calls. This is what Ann's talking about, that it takes 2 passes at the file before it moves on to the post step. So it can be frustrating as an end user because you get the first round of errors, you fix those and send it back up thinking you're all done, and oh, sorry, you got more errors. And that's the comparative batch that comes. So Brandy, it sounds like we're stuck with this for now.
Yes, I mean, I haven't heard anything to the contrary.
Okay, Aaron is going to try to exclude all the SELA records except for the TBDs. I think that's a great approach, Aaron. Give that a shot. Hey, Leanne, question 1. I can't get my full SENR, SPRG, and SINF to upload without errors. The workaround of deleting the errors from the upload and submitting them again provides me with more errors on the known issues list. I was able to load all elementary sites by doing school by school, but get the same errors for the secondary sites. Therefore, I haven't sent up a SELA since the new system has come up. Should I do that file site by site as well? I think if you have any kids that you're waiting to test, at minimum, get those in there, Leanne. They're TBDs. Hey, and Q3, follow up to Q2. Does that mean we have to upload the file twice? Potentially. if you fix these internal validations in phase 1 and you have these comparatives, it would force you to do it twice. If you don't have any comparative and you've already fixed the internals, then it'll go ahead and jump to the post queue.
So hopefully, Anne, you can see how valuable it would be for the vendors to have these validations locally so that your data, you can check it all before you send it up. Because if you had it all cleaned up before you send it up, nothing should reject, right?
At least on phase 1, right? The vendors are going to struggle with the phase 2s, but they should be able to at least check the phase 1s. But we're fairly, early on into launch, so I don't know how many vendors have completed that yet. Okay, it's 3:38, and we have reached the end of Q2s and Q3s. Sorry, Richard, Q3, since it's going on the listserv, students 6 Pro and over to 12th grade require documentation on exits. Where may an LEA find the guidance on proper procedures for obtaining documentation?
Remember that we used to have an exit glossary or an exit code glossary, and there was a section on what proper documentation was?
It's appendix C or D in the data guide.
Yes.
Oh, here it is. Page 254 of the data guide. Hopefully that's what you were looking for. Since I ran out of questions, are any of the falsely triggering special ed errors scheduled to be on this week's update? TBD, Kara, people are working frantically to get those fixed, so I'm not sure if they're going to be in there or not. Okay, Q2, if a student has 3 IFEP SELAs and 1 EL SELA, then will it show that student needs testing? The EL record has the latest date as of 10/6/2010. Student is showing that the summative LPAC needs to be taken in TOMS. Is there a workaround to update that student? So that was part of that migration, and our understanding is that CDE fixed that on the back end and the file that they sent to TOMS. That's correct.
They should have. So, okay, I need you to send me the SSID because I'm going to have him look at. There's only one person that has access to that extract that's going over. I used to have access to it. I don't anymore. So send me the SSID so I can have him take a look at it.
Type in migration. There it is.
So at the town hall on Friday, they talked about that, and what they thought or said was supposed to be happening was, even though it may look out of order inside of CALPADS when you look up individual students, they got kind of garbled in the migration, but that they were looking at legacy and fixing those on the extract that was being sent to TON. So that shouldn't be happening, but it sounds like, Kay, you're still being impacted. And when Brandy says send her this SSID, she means through a ticket. And we'll assign it to her. Don't add to her emails before she goes on vacation. Fabiola, could you provide the link for PowerPoint from the regional quarterly updates presentation? Does somebody have that handy?
I have.
I thought you might, Alex. Alex linked the box site. Marsha's got the PowerPoint directly. Both work. Kay put in a ticket. Oh, Rick responded, no issue. When Brandy says put in a ticket, make sure you say Brandy told me to do this. That way level 1 doesn't just assume, because there are known issues with that. So write back to him, Kay, and say Brandy says. and he'll put it in the level 2.
He'll gladly send it to me. Right? It's like, bye.
Hey, Ann, Q4, is there consideration about lightening up the EOI reporting since it will be delayed so much? If everything still needs to be reported, it will create a domino effect that will make things very difficult for us. I don't know what is available to give there, Ann. CDE would have to answer that.
As far as I know, Ann, the majority of the data for end of year reporting is required for the California School Dashboard or for federal reporting. So the feds don't, they don't have pity on us. The likelihood of the lightening up the reporting requirements are not good because most of the data are used for federal or state reporting purposes.
All right, we had a couple people just join, and just apologize for the lull. We are at the end of our questions, so if you have something and you've just joined, feel free to type it in the chat. All right, a question from Angela Mata. Sorry if this was asked already, but will there be an announcement once districts are able to pull ODS extracts into our SIS with confidence? I don't know that it'll be an announcement per se. I think the one to watch out for is 6028. It's where they garbled the effective start dates, and so things are out of order. I was worried that if you pulled that ODS extract into your SIS with these dates out of sequence, that it might cause some problems. So check on this known issues list on Thursday, and if it's cleaned up, then I'd say go for it. That's for SELA at minimum.
About the ones that had the blanks or NA, and then we put the letter N in them.
That's another good one, yeah. So 6028 and 6015. That one's probably vendor specific, how the vendor handles the NA versus the N.
And I found the SPED ODS extract missing demographics is PM 6044. I can't remember who asked about that one, but it is a bug.
About the birth date. Somebody asked us if we had it logged. And yes, we do, because it's not just the birth date, apparently.
And I have a feeling, you guys, that a lot of these are interrelated, having to do with the migration, or the one that somebody asked earlier about, it was Eric, the first question of the day, about not being able to find students that you just enrolled. Happens when you request an SSID and it creates an enrollment record in CALPADS, but it doesn't automatically create the demographic. And it's intermittent, it's not everybody, but when it does happen, when you go to search for that SSID, it comes up as an invalid SSID, but then you can kind of download it in some extracts, and I see that the SSID is in there, but the demographics are blank. So again, it's kind of related to the SIMP missing. I think once we get that figured out, a lot of these will go away on their own, I hope. Hey, Elise, are you still recommending holding off sending up the EOI files if we can? Kind of a personal decision. I know SERS is having an issue. I haven't seen a lot of defects on end of year yet, but there are a couple out there.
Of course, CRSC has errors.
I think this is happening on both course enrollment and course completion.
Yeah, it is.
So SERS and course might give you some headaches, Elise, but you might try the others and see how that goes. Dan, did you confirm that it is okay to post mids who are clearly different students? Yes, I did confirm that. So you can mark them as different. The only catch is they show up a little funny on your screen. They show up as rejected. So they have to fix that, but it's pretty harmless. It's kind of a cosmetic thing, but it won't impact Tom's at all.
Okay.
We got one more question
we
in
got
here.
another question?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Charlene has one about mids. It's a funky one I've seen a few times, Charlene. So she combined a mid. Now it says verified. Do I need to inform the other LEA? And when I've seen that, it was all related to, see, I'm trying to find it for you. Charlene, if you could look and see if there's a second one associated with that SSID below the one that says verified. Is there another one that says ready? And if so, it's part of 6063. And if you don't see that, let us know and we'll take a look at it for you. Super inconsistent on that one. I haven't seen that one pop up a lot. Derek, Q1, we have a mid that did not merge completely. Oh, Derek, I grabbed your ticket. Yes, this one made my heart sink. When searching the duplicate SSID, we got the submitted. Yeah, so it looks like it was retired, but it only kept the original SENR data and nothing else. No, so I already unlinked that. Or Derek, I'm glad you responded to that ticket, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen it. But I unlinked that bug. You're right, that's not related, and it's kind of more related to one Gary logged here, 6052. But in your case, all of the data was lost. So we lost SELA, STAS, SPRG, course data. So yeah, that one made my heart sink a little bit. So I still have that on my radar, Derek, and I will be getting back to you.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Marshall. We're
No
signing off.
problem.